What's up, issue? For today's video, with a Inkay Evolution team, I'll be using Inkay and Malamar. Now, recently, Malamar got a new Mega revealed in ZA, so I thought this would be a good time to actually do this team, so we can sort of have a look at these Pokemon and what do you think of Mega Malamar? Let me know. We've got Contrary, Suction, Cups, and Infiltrator as the ability for these Pokemon. I'll be using 2 Inkay and 2 Malamar on this team as well. I've got 6 battles today, and I hope you enjoy. Tell me what you think of Mega Malamar and Malamar. Is this anyone's very favorite Pokemon of all time? Let me know. All right, first battle here, we got a bunch of random battles. We got a Sceptile lead. My first Pokemon is going to be Inkay, and it's going to be a Trick Room setup set for majority of my team. So the other moves I've got in here are Psycho Cut and Night Slash, and I've also got Destiny Bond too, in case, you know, Inkay was unable to take out the Pokemon, which did happen a lot of the time. So this Sceptile was pressing me with some pretty hard attacks here, so I wasn't confident I was going to feint it. I would have needed a crit there, so I just went for Destiny Bond and finished it off. Now, I know there was a lot of big news yesterday. People have been asking me about it. You know, spoiler alert, there was a lot of new Megas revealed. I think it was like 5 Megas or something revealed yesterday. So tell me what you think of all them. Let me know in the comment section. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Do you like it? Do you not like it? I'll talk a little bit about it through this video as well. All right, my next Pokemon is going to be Malamar here. Now, this Malamar wasn't exactly what I wanted to, face Archaludon with. I thought it might be a good idea to do a double swap into my other Inkay and try and feint this with Destiny Bond as well, because it was a very, very similar set. So we got Trick Room, Destiny Bond, Future Sight, and Topsy Turvy. So, what do you think Mega Malamar's ability will actually be in the future? That's what I was thinking about too. I would like to see an ability that's like Topsy-Turvy, right? The actual move Topsy-Turvy, but it's an ability. So, what I mean by that is, say you send out Mega Malamar onto the field, and then someone goes for like a belly drum or a sword dance or whatever, so those stats will be inverted, so you won't be able to set up against this Pokemon without them being like, inverted there. What do you think of that? I think it's pretty cool. If you've got any other ideas for its ability or what it's going to be, let me know. Next Pokemon is Emboar. My opponent also brought 4 Pokemon too, which is pretty cool. This Malamar was a special set. So I want to run a physical one, and I also want to run a special one. I like to, have a good spread of different movesets for each, at least the fully evolved Pokemon. So this was Max Special Attack and Max Speed, Timid Nature. We got Expanding Force, Nasty Plot, Dark Pulse, and Flamethrower. And I've got Salic Berry and Infiltrator as the item ability. Terra-type Fire for any Bug-type Pokemon. And it actually did fairly well in the battles that I used it. Last Pokemon on my opponent's team is Altaria. So you don't get to see Altaria too often. And we've got a Terra here. So I was thinking, usually a lot of the time on Altaria it is Terra Steel because of its big 4 times weakness to ice. So I thought, all right, well, at least I can use, Flamethrower and stuff against that. I just went Dark Pulse here because I went for a flinch, right? Altaria's going to use Moonblast on my Malamar, doing just over 50% of my health. So I think I got very, very close there. I actually had a special attack drop there too, so I thought, well, if that was minimum damage, I am going to feint to it. So I'll swap out and I'll go into my other Malamar, which is my bulky Contrary Superpower set, which you may have seen on my channel already. The funny thing was, I swapped it into a Moonblast, and Contrary gave me a special attack rise. Not that it mattered too much. So this set, I have previously showed this before. I mean, I think I've used this set, outside of Terra Blast. I've used the same set since like when Malamar first came out in the game. So we got Superpower Terra Blast with Stellar, Rest and Sleep Talk, Tanga Berry as the item, so powering down those super effective bug moves, and Max Health and Special Defense with Careful Nature. You could actually opt to make it a special attacker too, if you wanted to. Like, you could mix them in, maybe with Terra Blast, but I always found it difficult to fit that on there because you needed some form of recovery. So I'm going to be going for a Superpower Stellar here, and that is going to drop Altaria right out of the clouds. Well, I mean, What would not Malamar, what would Altaria's body look like with that cloud? It's probably like a little yellow worm or something, I'm not sure. Anyway, thank you, Drip Riley, for the battle. Let's get on to battle number 2 here. This was another random battle. This one is against Stefano, I think that's how to say it. And we have our Articuno Galar lead. Same sort of setup here with the Inkay. Inkay I technically led with most of the time because it was quite good at least setting Trick Room up, and you could, generally net yourself one Destiny Bond KO. Then the second one, it's a little bit harder because they're sort of onto your strategy there. But at least you could get rid of one and then maybe set the bulky Malamar in there. But yes, it was interesting. We did get to see the new Megas, so it's quite interesting though, because those Megas you can't actually access without the online, and they're through the ranked battle thing. It's not even proper battles either. It's just it's not like turn-based battles. So, and then they get released each season. So I don't know about that. I don't feel that was I think it should just be in the game to have there. Tell me your thoughts on that. I reckon I probably know them already, but in comes Zapdos Galar. We've got them both here today. I've got Destiny Bond here, and I thought I'd go for that to bury this Pokemon because it's it's very, very threatening. It's going to use Drill Peck, so the squid got drilled there, and it's also going to take out Zapdos with it, which wasn't a bad start to the battle there. That was not too bad. That can be a very, very threatening Pokemon, Zapdos. Now, I was thinking here, I could bring in my next Inkay and try with Destiny Bond again, but this is the difficult part, because once you've used it once, the opponent could be, they're sort of onto your strategy. So I thought, maybe if I go for something different, like Future Sight or Topsy-Turvy or something like that, maybe I'll make them think that I don't have that move. So I went for Future Sight anyway. Articuno's going to use Hypnosis, so it's going to put my squid to sleep here. So it's got Hurricane and Hypnosis. Now, both of these do have Focus Sashes as their items. Some battles I actually changed the items around. One of them I had Everlight on there, and I tried to make one of them bulky and one of them with a sash. So I sort of changed those items in between when I was giving this team a go. So it's going to Hurricane, I'm going to land on my sash, and sadly Inkay does not wake up. So I thought, I wonder what other move you've got. And it had Ancient Power, so I'm like, oh, I really hope that doesn't boost. And it didn't, so that was good, because would have been a lot of trouble if that got a boost there. So I've got 2 Malamars. Here comes Future Sight, and that did about 1 damage there. That's all good, though. I wasn't really expecting anything. So swapping in Malamar now, I thought this wouldn't be that bad to go for maybe a couple of superpowers and then try and finish it off maybe with a tear-up, because this was very, very resistant, right? So I'm getting my attack and defensive boost up there. I had a Hurricane miss, which was very handy. Now they're going to land the second one this time. That's a lot of damage there, and I went for another superpower. So I thought, well, this turn, I think it might pay to either go for Rest or Superpower. But if I go for Rest, I think I'm going to get outsped there, on the next turn, and then it'll faint me, right? So going for Superpower here, and that is going to be the end of Articuno. They tried to put me to sleep with Hypnosis. And also, I did think of that too when I sent it out. I thought if they try Hypnosis, I can use Sleep Talk when they use Hypnosis. So that's the end of that Pokemon. Next one is going to be Zamazenta. So this was as you can see, this is a much, much more powerful team than no comparison. Also, they have 6 Pokemon too, so I was very, very cautious and thinking, what can I do to this thing, right? So Zamazenta uses Moonblast, and it raises my special attack because it dropped, right? I just went for Rest here because I was a bit worried I wasn't going to live Behemoth Bash or whatever like that. So I got my health back, which is cool. I know this thing definitely is probably a mix set. Then they withdrew it, so I'm like, all right, fair enough. I mean, to be fair, I do have quite a few defensive boosts up too. Now, in comes Miraidon. Now, this was a problem because the funny thing about electric terrain is it won't wake you up when you're asleep, but it'll prevent you from falling asleep after you've woken up. So that prevented me actually using Rest while this was on the field. So I managed to get a lucky Sleep Talk superpower there. Did a lot of damage to Miraidon. So I thought, all right, I guess I could go for Stellar here, because if I get Terra Blast, it's going to do donkeys. So if I've got superpower and Terra Blast, I've got a 2 in 3 chance of taking out Miraidon. Of course, if I get rest, well, then I'm done, right? So Miraidon's going to use Dazzling Gleam this time. I actually lived that thanks to max health and max special defense, so that was, you know, really, really nice having that. And I was really hoping here I could roll one of those 2 moves and feint this. And I actually got Terra Blast. See, I did the right thing there. So Terra Blast at least is going to, you know, be able to feint Miraidon there. So I had a lot of boosts. So that's going to boost up my attack and special attack this time. That's the cool thing with Contrary ability. Normally, if you use Terra Blast or Stella, it would drop them. So it's one of the few Pokemon that can, you know, actually make good use of this mechanic. So in comes Zamazenta. I just held on there from a Moonblast. And since I can't go to sleep, I can only attack. So I went for a superpower with the Stellar boost there, and Zamazenta gets rolled out like a lounging rug. So that was awesome. I'm taking out Pokemon left, right, and center here. The only issue is I can't go to sleep to recover my health, you know. So like, this is, I'm on borrowed time now, basically. So I went for superpower, but unfortunately, I'm going to feint to a throat chop there from Urshifu. So that one actually critted me. I don't think that would have mattered anyway, because that's got multiple critting moves regardless. So Malamar was my last Pokemon, and it was the special one. So this is nowhere near as good as the physical one. Plus, I didn't have Terra. I didn't have a lot to do against it. So I thought, all right, I'll go for Nasty Plot. I've got to try and flinch Urshifu with a few Dark Pulses and then go for Flamethrower, right? Wicked Blow does a ton of damage to me, but it does put me in Salic range. Like, ooh, that's pretty good. Because the last Pokemon was going to outspeed me, but now it can't. And I know that I can actually deal with that. So I'm like, all I've got to do is get around it. So I'm going for Dark Pulse here, going for flinches on Urshifu, but I unfortunately never ever got a flinch. So that is going to be the end of my Malamar there. If only I got, I would have probably needed like, let's say 2 flinches there, and I maybe would have had in range to take that with Flamethrower. But still a very, very good battle considering what they brought and what I brought. Let's get on to battle number 3. This is a battle against Satoru. We had a couple of battles over with some of my teams here, so this was another one of them. So we've got a Scissor lead this time. Scissor is going to use Sword Dance. Now, Scissor was, as you can imagine, a very, very scary Pokemon for my team. Actually, why I brought a Malamar with Terra, Fire, and Flamethrower. So I set up the Trick Room here, but as you know, Scissor's got many, many priority moves as well. So I thought I'll just get some damage on it and see what I can do. So Scissor's going to set up 2 Sword Dances here. And I'm thinking this is bad. I got a lucky crit there with Night. So then a baton passed them on. It's like, oh no, what are these, you know, what are these stats going to go to? What Pokemon? And then they went to Snorlax. Now, I previously did battle this team, but their sets were different. So I think they had like different movesets on their Pokemon, which is cool. So that was a Body Slam Snorlax with +4 in attack. So I was like, oh man. I just went for Psycho Cut here because I didn't really have much to use against it outside of a Destiny Bond, right? Snorlax has got leftovers as well. I just swapped out Inkay because I thought, I've got a plan here. I just got to execute it, you know? Now, at the moment, Snorlax under Trick Room with +4 in attack was no joke, right? I was going to get, my team was going to be cremated, right? So I turned into like Salt and Pepper Squid. So I had to do something here, right? Snorlax virtually has all of its health back that that I did to it with Psycho Cut 2. That was the last turn of Trick Room. So I'm like, okay, good. Now I can go for Destiny Bond and hopefully Snorlax will attack. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't attack with all that, attack stat and nearly at full health. So thankfully, the Snorlax is going to go down here because I don't think I would have fainted that. Even if I just went into Malamar and then went Stellar Superpower, that still would have lived in one shot at me, I believe. So Inkay's down. We're going to go into Inkay number 2 on 1 health. Now, unfortunately here, I don't have any Trick Room up. So Dragonite is going to be able to outspeed me here. I just went for a Destiny Bond anyway, but I thought there's no way I'm going to outspeed this. So they're going to go for Thunder Wave. I was like, oh, okay, maybe they expect, okay, I'm not sure what they expect there. So I went for Destiny Bond regardless. It's like, interesting, Thunder Wave. Then I had Night Slash. I was like, I had Trick Room. What do I do here? Are they going to attack me this turn? Maybe they expected like some different move. I was very lost here. Then they swapped out because obviously they don't want to lose their Pokemon. It must be some sort of specific set that was on Dragonite for them to use Thunder Wave. Now, Scizor is going to come in here. I just went for Trick Room, so I thought I'll set Trick Room up again. It's not going to suit my other speedy Malamar, but it'll suit the Superpower one. I also had Destiny Bond here as well, but like I said, I wasn't really sure what they were going to do. Are they going to set up again? But it turned out they had Bullet Punch. Like, all right, fair enough. I kind of thought they'd have that anyway. It's not that much of a loss there. So we've got Malamar, the physical one. I almost went into the special one, but I thought, no, I'm not going to, because let's say Scizor had a bug move like X-Scissor or U-turn. Well, I'll just get destroyed, right? So I went for Superpower, and as expected, it didn't really do a lot of damage here. The funny thing is, right, when I went for Superpower, the Scizor had counter. I'm like, what is this? So I had Sword Dance, counter, and Bullet Punch and Baton Pass. So that was their entire Scizor set. So something a little bit different at least. Here comes Bullet Punch, but I don't know how much they've actually got invested in attack at all. I think they might have a bit more invested in bulk and other things there. But regardless, I was able to take out the Scizor with a couple of superpowers, and you know, +2 in attack and defense was definitely handy. So all I know of this Dragonite is it does have Thunder Wave. So I thought, well, Thunder Wave's not much of an issue because I can just go to sleep there. You know, that'll be good. I could also try and Terra Blast this, but I don't know if I want to use Terra right away because I might need it for something else. I was just thinking what I should do. So I went for Rest here. I wanted to see what this Dragonite would actually even be able to do. Now, announcement here. I forgot to say this. My next theme team is my 1600th theme team, all right? So I've got something cool planned for us. I've done 1600 theme teams in like 10 plus years or something like that. So I'm going to try and make it a fun one, and it's going to be cool. So hopefully I'll have it. I'm hoping to have it released tomorrow, if all goes well. If there's a bit of delay, it might be the next day. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that one. I'm going to give you something pretty cool there. All right, so Dragonite trying to Thunder Wave me, but I went to sleep there, so I was able to avoid it. So this is a Wrap Dragonite. So it's got Wrap and Thunder Wave. And so it's designed there, and it's got Iron Head as well. All right, so I think I did encounter this Dragonite earlier on in one of my previous videos. The other two sets were a bit different though. So this one seems to be the same or similar one. So at this stage here, I can see where the set's going. So you get paralyzed and then Iron Head to flinch and then Wrap to, to trap in or whatever. So at this stage, I had to go for Stellar Terra Blast here for some damage, because I know my special Malamar is not going to cut it. I'm going to need probably, two nasty plots to try and feint this thing. So I just went for that in hopes that I'll be able to feint the Dragonite. So I'm going for the Stellar Terra Blast here, and I got some really, really good damage there, and I was also increasing my stats too, which was good. Superpower was good at tanking the Iron Heads a bit better. The other move was Roost. So I had a feeling they'd have Roost because it's quite a passive Dragonite set, so you'd need some form of recovery. So at this stage, I just kept spamming my attack here because it was fine because I kept increasing my attack, right? So it wasn't all that bad. Eventually, Dragonite had to feint here, but I was also getting hit by Wrap too. So what they were doing is they were healing off and they were waiting for a Wrap to feint me or, put me on a lower amount of health here. So I'm continuing peppering them with them colored stars. And I got another attack right. So at this stage, I think I'm at like +5 or something ridiculous like that. So Ekans is putting in some work as well. I think this might be, I'm thinking how many turns I'm Wrap for. This might be a Grip, it might be a Grip Claw Dragonite, because that lasted for quite, I could be wrong about that. What Grip Claw does, it extends out the trapping moves to like 7 turns there. I could be wrong about that anyway. So I went to sleep here because I had to, because I was going to die to the Wrap, and Wrap is continually hitting me at the moment. I was actually waiting to get freed by the Wrap, how long it would actually take. Now we have a Terra here, so I don't think my opponent has a lot of options now. I think they're going to try and flinch me with the Iron Head or maybe try and go for a crit here. The only bad thing about going for Terra Steel is Superpower is super effective, as is Terra Blast, because Terra Blast is super effective against all other types of Terra. So I was like, this is good. All I have to do is roll one attacking move and hopefully not roll rest twice in a row, And I got the Terra Blast off here, which is good. So I was like, that's definitely not going to leave it super effective. So that's one good thing about Stellar and Terra Blast, that it is super effective against all the others. But the other thing about it is it's not so great on most Pokemon. There are always seen to be better options, right, that you can pick from. So in comes Blastoise. This is going to be a Shell Smash set, and I feel like I could live absolutely anything here, unless it was a really, really powerful special move, because I have so many, or of course a critical hit as well, but I've got so many boost up in attack and defense at the moment, and useless ones like special attack. I wonder if this actually might be able to do something to store power. I have done a Malamar Moveset guide before. If you want to see some other Malamar sets, you can check it out. It is on my channel. So I'm going to go for Terra Blast here. At this stage, I was at max attack, and Blastoise is going to faint there. So I don't think there's much they could have done to my Malamar once I was set up there. And that's the end of the battle, because I brought 4 Pokemon as well. GG, thank you for the battle. Let's get on to battle number 4 this time. All right, we have a random opponent here. I'm not sure what their trainer name is here, but they've got a Booster Energy Iron Bundle here. So this had a couple of options here to just straight up attack me or use Flip Turn. So I went for Trick Room here just to try and get the speed and everything going, right? And then I maybe could get a Destiny Bond off. The only thing is I have got a Focus Sash and attack, so I need that to sort of, go before that actually happens. So I'm hoping they'll just straight up attack me and then attack me again. And they're going to go for Hydro Pump. So I'm like, oh, that's good. That's probably on 1 health. I'm sure they've got some other coverage move like, Freeze Dry or Flip Turn or something like that to hit me with. So I'm going for Night Slash here again, really, really putting some pressure on Iron Bundle, and that they really, really want that substitute up. So I thought at this stage, I'm going to keep attacking them instead, right? Instead of going for Destiny Pod. I also was trying to get I was trying to go for a Malamar sweep here at this point as well. So now they're going to go for a substitute. They just got it, only just. It was very, very close. At this stage, I think I lost my Trigger in the next turn. I almost went for Destiny Bomb there, but I wanted to get rid of their sub, right? So its sub is gone, and I've sort of forfeited the chance to use Destiny Bomb on Iron Bundle. So they're going to go for Freeze Dry and Faint the Inkay. But I thought this is a great opportunity to send in Malamar and try and sweep them, At least I thought that was a good idea. So the Trick Room, unfortunately, has run out. So I thought, oh, I'll send in my other Inkay. I'll set Trick Room up, and then I'll just use Future Sight or Throw or something like that. It doesn't really matter, right? So I'm getting hit by another Freeze Dry here that almost takes me down to my Focus Sash, and Trick Room is now set up again. This was also Terra Ghost too, just for any extreme speed users, because they are quite popular. So my opponent's going to swap out the Iron Bundle, and we've got the Rotom Wash coming in here. This will be a great Pokemon to get rid of with Destiny Bond, but I was like, no, I'm gonna go for this Malamar sweep. That was sort of my whole thing. As you can see, I was thinking about it a lot. So I went for the Future Sight on the Rotom Wash, and I know that it's not going to do a lot. So they've got a pretty good momentum here. They've got I don't know if they had Flip Turn on their Iron Bundle, but Flip Turn and Volt Switch are pretty good there, and they both work very well together in typing. Next Pokemon is Chien-Pao. This obviously was a very, very powerful team, even though they weren't holding back at all. And we have Malamar swapping in. So I thought, all right, Malamar can go for Superpower. Let's do this. So Superpower puts Chien-Pao down to its Focus Sash. Now, the worst I was expecting was like an Icicle Crash, something along those lines, right? But at least I'd had a defensive and attack boost up there. So I was able to live the Icicle Crash pretty well. They're going to try and deny me of that Superpower KO on Chien-Pao, and they're going to bring back in their Rotom. So I was like, right, that's cool. I've got Rest. I can go for that. And I can, if it does have something like Thunder Wave or Will-O-Wisp or something boring like that, he had Rocky Helmet. So I thought, all right, that's cool. Here comes Future Sight. Future Sight hits him a little bit harder. So I'm like, ooh, one superpower will take that out. But if they hit me with like Volt Switch or whatever, I'm going to faint myself. So here comes the Foul Play. Foul Play does not take me out, and I went for Rest. So now I'm fully set up again with my health, and I'm ready to go here, trying to get this this sweep. Now, Rotom Watch is going to go for Volt Switch now. Obviously, they've realized they actually got a lucky crit there. They've realized that that's going to be fainted as well as Champow, as well as Iron Bottle. So I virtually had 3 Pokemon on the ropes here that I could easily faint. So Malamar is sleeping right now. I was like, okay, if I can get even Terra Blast, this will be good to get rid of this Pokemon. That'll be great, right? And I got Rest. I'm like, that is very unlucky. So I had a 2 out of 3 chance of actually getting that. So I'm like, all right, I'll go for a Sleep Talk again. Champow's going to go for its Icicle Crash. Doesn't really do a lot of damage. And I'm going to go for the Sleep Talk again here. So I really would love Superpower, but I wouldn't mind if it was, Terra Blast. And I got Sleep Talk Rest twice in a row. I'm like, oh, that was really, really unlucky. Especially the one on the swap there, because that virtually gave him a free run. So at this stage, I really had to go for the Superpower just to get rid of Chanpow, because it was going to annihilate the rest of my team. And let's be real, there wasn't much of the rest of my team left, right? So I finally got one Pokemon down. I could have gone for Rest there, but I could have easily have gone for Rest and Sleep Talk and got Rest again, just like I did before. So now Iron Buttle's going to come in and go for Freeze Dry and faint my Malamar, unfortunately. So I was like, all right, that's fine. They were lucky, but let's see how many Pokemon I can take out with the set. Maybe they won't expect a special Malamar. So I've got Expanding Force and Flamethrower. I didn't really want to give much away, so I thought I'll just go for Dark Pulse. Freeze Dry does lots of damage coming from an Iron Bundle, of course. So that is the end of Iron Bundle, which is good. I think I might have done this battle on a stream because the quality's like a tiny bit different. I think I might have. I can't remember. Next Pokemon is Rotom Wash. I was like, ooh, I think I might be able to take this out. With I've got Dark Pulse or Expanding Force. Both of them should be able to take it out, hopefully. And he lived on 1 health and Will-O-Wisp landed. So thankfully, they didn't attack, they used Will-O-Wisp, so they probably have never seen anything. Or I doubt they've ever probably even seen a Malamar in a battle, but that was really all they were trying to do. Maybe they thought I had superpower or something on this as well. Regardless, Rotom Wash is going to faint there, but they had all those Rest Sleep Talks, the 1 HP live on Rotom, so nothing was going my way here. Last Pokeball I had anyway, because I brought 4, is going to be the Iron Valiant there. It's going to get a speed rise. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to outspeed that. So I decided to go for Terra Fire here in hopes that maybe he'll use a fairy type move like, Spirit Break or something. And then I get a low HP live and hit it hard. That was the idea anyway, Iron Valiant is a very, very powerful Pokemon compared to Malamar. They're going to go for Encore here. So they're going to Encore me into my last move. Which was the Dark Pulse. So, Dark Pulse still, virtually did nothing as expected, and they can just use any move here. But really, that is the end of the battle there. They just, honestly, they just had, everything went their way, and they just had a more powerful team. So they didn't really have to do anything special here to win this battle. But I believe if I went for the Destiny Bonds on the Inkays earlier on, instead of trying to get that Malamar sweep, I would have won that battle. No worries at all. My Sallow Berry got knocked off there as well. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that one. Let's get on to battle number 5. I like to show some losses as well, even if I do get unlucky and stuff like that. I like to show everything, like all the battles that I do, all the more interesting ones. This battle is number 5, and this is also a 4v4 battle too. So my opponent's going to lead with a Forretress, which is a bug type. But, this is going to be a red card, Stealth Rocks there. It's quite common with Forretress. Forretress is a very, very passive Pokemon. Outside of, Body Press and stuff like that. So they're going to obviously use Stealth Rock there. Thankfully, Inkay actually got the swap in, so I can actually make use of Destiny Bond, maybe. But I wasn't too sure what I could do here. So it's maybe I'll go Future Sight, or maybe I'll swap it out. I decided in the end, I was like, maybe if I can get this Trick Room set up, and then I'll send it in later. Let's get rid of the Foragers before it sets up 1,000 spikes and stuff like that. So it's going to set up Iron Defense. It's like, yep, you've got Body Press. So I thought, well, I'll go to the special set. I'll just use Flamethrower. Flamethrower is going to take it out. Sturdy's been broken if it even had it. And yeah, that's good getting rid of that, because that was annoying. And having to deal with, our Body Press Foresters would be very bad. Next Pokemon's Lugia. Another very bulky Pokemon. I thought, well, I'll go Nasty Plot. I'm quite confident I can live whatever move it does outside of, like, I don't know, like an Aeroblast crit. And then they set up Calm Mind. So, like, it was strange because I had a lot of battles on a certain day, and I want to say every third team had a Lugia in it. I don't know why, it just did, and they were all very similar sets, like the bulky Calm Mind ones. And you know how bulky Lugia is. So we've got a Terra Poison here, which was a bit of an interesting Terra against the Psychic team. I guess they were worried about being poisoned or something. So I went for a Dark Pulse and I did 2 damage, right? And I got a Fleech. So I was like, all right, well, at least I've broken its multi-scale. I can go for an Expanding Force here. This should do some pretty good damage, right? So I'm going for the Expanding Force. Good damage, but Lugia is like a complete beast, right? So I think they expected to be able to live that a bit better and set up Substitutes. They've got Calm Mind and Substitute here as their, their main sort of strategy plus leftovers. Now, I was just pressing them with Expanding Force here. I did not want to do that. And I had Infiltrator. So, bye-bye. Nice try setting up a sub. So, they probably have never versed an Infiltrator Special Malamar before. And they thought I'd just be like a contrary set. So, that was really refreshing taking out the Lugia behind a sub there. I love Infiltrator for that when people try and stall with sub. Next Pokemon's going to be Gyarados. Gyarados did not have Intimidate either, so I thought I've got to do something here, right? So I got some good damage there with Dark Pulse, and they're going to set up a Dragon Dance. So it's just a typical Dragon Dance, Moxie Gyarados here. Here comes Scale Shot. So Scale Shot was their way of trying to increase Gyarados' speed, plus upon me fainting to get a Moxie. However, even with +1 an attack, that was just simply not enough to actually take out Malamar at all, and I fainted it with Dark Pulse. So that would have been, I definitely would have lost. I'd say I would have probably lost there after a Dragon Dance plus Moxie boost. I don't know whether my last Malamar would have been able to handle that. I don't know if it is bulkier, but I don't know. It would have been very close, like especially something like a waterfall or whatever. So Goldengo is the last Pokemon here. We're getting a sweep with this special Malamar, by the way, and Goldengo is going to get hit by a +2 Flamethrower, and it gets dropped. So there you go, people, a special Malamar sweep there. Only on PIMPNITE channel. Let's get a like for that one, and we've got one more battle left. I want to say that crit didn't matter either. I don't think so. Thank you, Rahito, for the battle there. Let's get on to our 6th and final battle here. Not sure of my opponent's name here, but this was definitely probably the longest and best battle that I had with this team. It was quite interesting to say the least. All right, first Pokemon we got is going to be Chianpoo. Speaking of which, we should be able to get Chi-Yu soon. I think it's a couple of days off that, getting that. Because we've already been successful getting the shiny Chi-Yu. I feel like most people did the first one, and then people figured out that they could get the free shinies by not even doing it, so they just never did it. So that's why I feel like the numbers of the successful raids, went down and stuff significantly. Even though Chi was probably the best looking shiny out of all of them, objectively there. So we've got an Ice Shard Qian Power, which doesn't really surprise anyone, and that's the end of Inkay there. I'm gonna have a drink, guys. All right, I'm having some G Fuel, some hydration. You can use code SALT, get that fat 20% off. All right, next Pokemon's gonna be Malamar. Now Malamar, I was actually thinking this would be a good Pokemon to set up against my superpowers. So they're going to throw a last-minute Ice Shard at me, and they're going to faint. So that's fine. That critical hit absolutely did not matter there. It was 4 times super effective, even with no EVs in an attack at all. I actually haven't told you what this build was. So the bulky Malamar Actually, no, I did. I told you what the build was. It's a bulky Malamar set. This is interesting. So in comes Urshifu. Now, I like to have Tangaberry on this for these moments, right? So I went for superpower, increased my attack and defense. So at the moment, I'm max health and I've got +2 in defense and I'm holding a Tangaberry, right? U-turn is going to activate Tangaberry and U-turn does absolutely nothing. If I didn't have that Tangaberry, I would have been lucky to have lived that. I would have been very, very low health and I would have been forced to go for rest there, which could have been, you know, bad because I just lost my Trick Room. So that would have been game over. So that was a good play putting Tangaberry on there. Because U-turn's a very, very common move, you know. You got to think of these sort of things, right? So Lugia's going to go for Dragon Pulse. That's going to do absolutely donkeys. It's also Life Orb as well. So a Life Orb Lugia. So there is no way I'm ever going to be able to feint this Lugia with superpower. I already have realized that. So I thought I'm just going to try and get as many superpowers up here as I can. And hopefully try and feint them with Stellar Terra Blast. What I'm hoping for is I want to draw out a Terra on this Lugia. I want to make them get frustrated with it so they can't feint it and then go for a Terra if they've got an offensive Terra. I wasn't really sure if they did or they didn't. So Lugia is going to go for Recover here and it's going to get all of its health back. Not that I, truly did much damage to it. So I'm going to go for Sleep Talk here in hopes that I can get more superpowers and I've got Terra Blast. So Terra Blast... Terra Blast is a special move at the moment, so it's going to do nothing. So here comes Aeroblast, and that's a 3-hit KO. And I'm getting some Life Orb damage there, but I'm really going to need to land a Stellar Terra Blast on them. But I don't want to at the moment because they haven't terrored yet. Or I don't even know if they were going to. So I got another superpower, which is good, increasing my attack even more. But if you put it this way, it heavily resists superpower. So even if I've got... Let's say I've got +6 in attack. Then that might be the time to go for Terra Blast. But outside of that, I wasn't going to risk it. Now we've got the Terras. All right, I was hoping this would happen. Like, even if it's not an offensive one, as long as it's a Terra, I can then have my Terra Stellar be super effective. That's what I was going for. So they're going to go for Hydro Pump, Terra Water with a Life Orb. And I do live that. Not very well, though, but I do live that. And this turn... I just went for rest again, because what I was aiming for here, I thought, I actually have to take a bit of a chance here, because if I try and go for the Terra while I'm away, I'm not going to be able to feint the remainder of Pokemon, because they'll just come in and feint me with U-turn or whatever like that. So I had to go for a risky play here, but I thought, I think that it might be worth it. I've got a 1 in 3 chance of it working. I either get rest, superpower, or Terra Blast. That was the plan anyway. So Lugia's going to go for a Hydro Pump here. Unfortunately for me, Hydro Pump does a massive crit. So that almost is like a 2-hit KO. So I'm like, this is it. I have to get Terra Blast this turn or it's game over. Like, I absolutely have to get it. And I also have to feint the Lugia as well. I got Terra Blast, and since Lugia had taken a bit of Life Orb damage and I had so many boost up already, it went down like a house of cards. So that was awesome. So I got rid of a mega counter there. If Lugia had never terrored there, I don't think I would have been able to get around it as easily, So that was a great Pokemon down. Next we got a Ursaluna. I've got Sleep Talk. Now, fortunately for me, since I am running a very slow Malamar set, Ursaluna Blood Moon is much slower, so I was actually able to outspeed, and I got a Stellar boosted superpower off, and I faded it. So that was 2 great Sleep Talk turns there, compared to some of the earlier times in the video when I got rest. So that's the thing about Sleep Talk and rest. It can be very, very strong, or it can just be... it can be very detrimental if you only get rest. Our next Pokemon is Urshifu. We know this is going to go for a U-turn. I absolutely have to go for rest again because I'm on low health already. So Urshifu's got to swap out. I actually thought they'd go for their critting move there, but they didn't. I guess they were obsessed with that 4 times weakness. So into Garchomp here, I'm going to go for rest again because I absolutely need it. Now, Rest only has 8 PP now. Like, they really did nerf all the healing moves down. So I had to use Rest and Sleep Talk when I had to really make it count, right? So, interestingly enough, Garchomp uses Thunder Fang. It's like, that's an interesting move to go for. Were they going for a flint or something like that. I went for Sleep Talk and I got Superpowers. I'm like, all right, this will take it out, right? And it lived on 1 health. I'm like, wow, it wasn't even Focus Sash. That was such a lucky leap. So they had Rough Skin and they had Rocky Helmet on top of that. So it's definitely like a bulky support style Garchomp, or at very least they've got Rocky Helmet and Rough Skin as on a sweeping set. So they're gonna go for Crunch now. Crunch is not gonna do anything, and I mean, to be perfectly honest, if I wasn't at max defense and that dropped my defense, that would have given me a defensive rise there. But at this time, I had +6 up in attack and defense. So they virtually didn't really use any stab moves whatsoever. I think that was just like a fully supporting set, really, on their team. So I'm going to go for Terra Blast here, and that is definitely going to be the end of the Garchomp. So it did surprise me a bit that they lived that. That definitely had some bulk about to live that. There's absolutely no way it should have lived. Now, keep watching, right? Next Pokemon we got is Ogerpon. Now, Ogerpon has got a critting move. And that's what I was a little bit worried about. So I'm like, well, I've got Superpower and I've got Terra Blast. I mean, they're both going to do some good damage. I've got a lot more Terra Blast than I do Superpower. Yeah, at this stage, I wasn't really, fussed too much. I was like, I'll just go for that. Here comes Stomping Tantrum. So Stomping Tantrum does nothing. I was expecting Ivy Cub Girl, right? And it lives on 1 health again. I don't know how this is happening, but that was 2 back-to-back 1 HP lives. I'm like, how did that live? This must have some bulk invested on it. So they went for Ivy Cub Girl. Well, it did nothing as well, and I just went for Superpower. So that's the end of the Ogerpon there. Their last Pokemon is going to be Urshifu. Now, we've seen this use U-turn 2 or 3 times already. So like, they're definitely going to go for U-turn again. I've got options here. I've got Terra Blast or Superpower. Either one of them, right? Like I'm so bulked up with stats at the moment. So I live the U-turn on 11 health. I'm like, yep, here we go. That's going to be, that's GG, right? You wouldn't read about it. That's 3 1 HP back-to-backs in a row. Like, you can't make this up. Like, I just don't know how that happened. Like, it's just crazy. I don't think I've ever experienced that in a battle before. Like, I mean, I've had a lot of 1 HP lives against me, but to have them consecutively like that in a row was absolute, like, BS, right? So I had to swap out my Malamar, sank my other Malamar off because I wanted to get the sweep, and then I brought in my other Inkay. So I thought the only way I can win this now, because I'm going to get outsped, is to get that Trick Room up again. So my opponent just kept spamming U-turn over and over again because it was 4 times super effective, with Dark and Psychic type Pokemon, and I managed to get Trick Room up. So like, good. All right, this is nice. I also think they were choiced as well. I believe they were definitely choiced. So I just went for Topsy-Turvy there. I didn't want to feint it anyway. I wanted the Malamar to get the KO. And not that I could have done anything because I had, Future Sight and stuff like that. And Inkay is going to go down. My last Pokemon is the Malamar on... it was like 11 health, and I could use virtually any move here to take out the Urshifu. But what a crazy battle. I did actually upload this one as a separate individual suite to my channel too, because I thought it was just so interesting. Anyway, that is my video on Malamar and Inkay. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back and do this team again when I can actually use Mega Malamar, say in Champs or Gen 10 or something like that. All right, peace out everyone, drop a like, and I'll catch you next time.